Hi, and welcome to the Weekly Ray. It's episode 4, and we're going to take a look back at all the best bits from the previous episodes at the end of the show. But first up, I'm speaking to LinkLiving CEO Sarah Smith about how support workers and service users have been getting on during lockdown, and also what the future holds for LinkLiving. Here we go. Hi Sarah, thanks very much for giving up your time and joining us.
Hi Graeme, it's a pleasure. Good to see you.
So we obviously find ourselves in unusual times just now. How do you think this situation has allowed LinkLiving to showcase your expertise at this moment in time?
Good question. LinkLiving, as you probably know by now, supports people in a whole range of different ways across East Central Scotland. And the reason why people, I suppose, need support from us is very varied. We support older people who are isolated in their own homes. We have 24/7 supported accommodation. We support people who have a history of severe and enduring mental health difficulties. We support young people affected by trauma, adults, affected by trauma. And we have a kind of quite extensive employability training arm as well. So we have a lot of expertise across the organisation, but I think if we boiled it all down to things that are common across all of our services, that is around kind of what it really takes to keep or promote, build, maintain, your mental health and your mental well-being, so that you can manage your own home, that you can take part in things in the community, that you can be okay when you have to be on your own sometimes, that you have the enthusiasm or motivation to do lots of different things, take part in music, the arts, go to the shops, all of those things. And that's common to every single person we support, regardless of the reason that they may have first come to be supported by us. So, and I think, the expertise across LinkLiving is around helping people to build their resilience, helping them to understand and really truly believe that there are some quite simple and straightforward, on the face of it, ways of keeping our mental health, keeping our positivity, building our resilience, so that when we get knocked back, we can pick ourselves up. They're quite simple things, but we also know that they're actually really hard to do. And I'm sure that a lot of people at the moment we all know that healthy eating, taking exercise, sleeping well, speaking to friends and family, doing something like reading a book, all of that's good for us. But for some reason, it's really hard to do and to motivate yourself, and particularly if you're on your own at the moment and nobody kind of giving you a bit of a zhuzh up to do it. So I think the expertise that we've brought to this campaign is to share that, to actually sort of say, these are some really helpful tips. We're reminding you about these. These are ways that you might kind of be motivated to take some of these on board. And also a reminder, which is what we remind people all the time across our services, is it's okay sometimes just to be, just to not want to do it. To actually, sometimes we can just be. And if being means staying in your pajamas all day, because that's how you feel at that point, and that's okay. Don't give yourself a hard time. Don't give yourself a hard time if your child's not suddenly decided to learn Japanese during the lockdown, or 5 different languages. We'd all love it, wouldn't we? We'd feel like great parents if our children did that. But I'm quite happy that my son's, his mental health's good, and he's actually just on his Xbox most of the time. So I think it's putting a sense of normality and some simple things. And I hope that what's come through this campaign is what great staff we've got across LinkLiving, and actually how caring, how normal, how ordinary everyone is, but they have a real way of connecting with people and reminding ourselves of it's okay just to be, we're good enough.
I think that I'd like to add to that. I've spoken to a lot of the LinkLiving team over the last little while, preparing for shows and getting further information, and that passion and sort of real care that comes from each member of staff that I've spoken to really shines through when I'm chatting to them. And the bits of the hints and tips and advice, obviously I've been asking them about what they're doing and how they're trying to help, but even I've managed to take some of that away and sort of implement it in my day-to-day routine as well, and I found it great. It's really beneficial, and I'm in awe of the way that they've reacted to the situation and adapted so well. How do you think the adaptations from the staff and the way that they've reacted has helped service users? What do you think they've taken away from these little snippets that are coming through in the campaign as well?
I think, and thank you for what you said, because I absolutely echo what you say, Graeme. I couldn't be more proud of everyone and more honoured, really, to have such fantastic colleagues and have the pleasure of leading the organisation. I think what it's showcased to me is what wonderful people that we have across the services. Not that I needed to be reminded of that, of course. I think what service the people that we support will hopefully take away, in terms of the way we've been working with people, is first and foremost that we care. That from the outset, teams have really worked creatively to try and find the best ways of connecting with people. They've gone the extra mile. They are continually ringing people if they feel that somebody's feeling a bit low. And I think a few weeks into lockdown, when it wasn't quite, I suppose there's an adrenaline attached to it all at the beginning, isn't it? It's awful, but it's kind of new and everyone's finding their way. Whereas I think particularly after about the third week, people were starting to get a bit lower. We could see that, and not just the people we support, probably our friends, neighbours and family as well. So I think that the caring of the staff team really came into play there, where they thought, oh no, I'm going to give them another week ring and check that they're okay. Ringing more regularly, checking that people have got enough provisions for those people that haven't got friends and family. So I think fundamentally, that's one of the things. In terms of what else, I think that they've probably realised, that we're all in our own homes at the moment. Funnily enough, one of my management team who works within the mental health services said it's been quite a strange experience in some ways for them, because a number of the people that they support, have been isolated and lonely for a long time, and now they're kind of seeing the whole country's feeling a bit like that, and the team they're working with. So again, it kind of reinforces that we're all in it together, regardless of whether you may need additional support to manage your day-to-day life and connect with others. Ultimately, we're all in it together and we're all experiencing this. So maybe people are having a bit more of a shared community at the moment, maybe. That's just my guess.
I think that from my discussions with the staff, I think that has came through as well. Do you think that it's maybe, like what you're saying, it's a two-way street in a sense? The service users obviously need that support, but also for the staff, it keeps a sense of normality and being able to continue to provide the service that they care about so much.
Undoubtedly, absolutely. We've had conversations across the organisation about that, and I can echo it myself. I in many ways, I've never been busier in some ways. It's felt that, and it's very intense the way we're all communicating as well. But what I am appreciative of is the fact that I am occupied constantly. Sometimes I might wish I wasn't all the time, but I am occupied. So I haven't got that sense of loneliness or kind of what am I going to do next, feeling that I know some people will have, people who've been maybe furloughed, people who were already in a situation where, day-to-day life was really difficult and they didn't have lots of people around them. So I think we're very fortunate. I think in some ways, whilst I think we are all probably, very appreciative of the fact that we are in quite a lucky situation compared to lots of people across the country, and we're all mindful of that. I want to do our bit to help, and I suppose that's where the Ray of Sunshine campaign came from. It was a real sense of passion and commitment across the organisation to say, what can we do to not only share a few tips, but also to have a bit of a laugh, actually. There's been a bit of silliness around it and a bit of fun, which certainly, I think has given us all a bit of an uplift at times.
Obviously, the current situation, we don't know the timeline on when things are going to end, but what do you think the future holds for LinkLiving? Do you think that there is any takeaways from, obviously, what is a very difficult situation, but do you think that there's anything that LinkLiving as a whole can take away from this and sort of use in the future?
Yeah, I do. And I think I'm always, and I know a lot of us are always careful about sort of talking about a sort of silver lining in all of this, because let's face it, there's not really a silver lining, in the sense that it's just been such a dreadful situation with so many people experiencing such awful loss. But I think there's lessons that will be less positive lessons as we move forward, and how that informs our service and support delivery. I think that the way we connect with people, I think we will use some of the technology. I think we'll continue to use that. I think, I've been dragged kicking and screaming to have to use conference calls and Skype and speak like this. It's not my natural way, but I've got used to it, and I know that a number of my colleagues that I've spoken to have said the same. And the way we're speaking with the people we support, we're doing this. I think this will be a real bonus, sort of being able to use this technology. For a while, of course, we're not going to be normal for any time soon. So we are developing a lot of our online training and personal development programs, like Steps to Resilience, like Better Than Well, our service for people affected by trauma. We're adapting those, in a virtual forum. And I think moving forward, we'll probably do part of that virtually and part in the classroom situation, sort of in a group work situation, as long as we can get the social distancing in place. So there's that. I also think it's probably connected us even more as an organisation. I'm blown away really by how people have been, how wonderful they've been, and also how talented people are. The Ray of Sunshine campaign, some of the poems and recipes and the way people have put themselves forward to be part of it has been amazing. And I think moving into the I suppose into the sort of slightly wider piece around this is that I think that the work that LinkLiving frontline workers do is starting to be really recognised. I think they're a real hidden workforce. I think this dreadful pandemic has shown that that organisations like LinkLiving provide phenomenally valuable support to people across the communities in their own homes, and they're still doing that. I think it took a while for that to be truly recognised over the last few weeks, but it is now, and I think that can only be a good thing, that there is greater partnership working across the piece for the benefit of the vulnerable people we support.
Sarah, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
It's been lovely talking to you, Graeme.
Some great insight there then from Sarah on how the hints, tips and advice have been helping service users across the course of the campaign. Now, don't stop looking after your mental health and well-being just because the show is finishing. Keep looking out for yourself, doing the things that help, and look out for the people that are around you as well. But most importantly, if you feel like you're in need of help, please do reach out. Now, tomorrow, we're having a Feel Good Friday. So if you've enjoyed the show, then keep an eye out for the posts, comment, interact, send us in your Feel Good Friday moment. And also, you can donate a Feel Good Friday $5. All these little bits add up and make a massive, massive difference. And to finish off the show, we have the best bits from across the 4 episodes. They're coming up in a second, but for one last time, this has been the Weekly Ray. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you very much for taking part. Bye-bye.